Should I tell my brother's girlfriend of 10 plus years he is cheating on her? My brother has been with his girlfriend for 10 plus years, and though they've had breakups and he's cheated before, I thought he'd changed. On a family trip, my other brother and I found out he's still cheating, using fake accounts to flirt with people online. We confronted him, and he promised to stop, but he kept lying. To begin, I know that this shouldn't be my business, and I have pried into things I shouldn't have, but I am conflicted, as I am so tired of the toxicity of their relationship, and it has come to the point where I feel like I hate my brother. Background information. My brother, 30, and his girlfriend, 29, have been together for 10 plus years, and she is his first ever girlfriend. They have had a past of breaking up constantly to then getting back together the next day, and my brother has been caught cheating on her in the past, multiple times as well. I am sure they have their good moments, but from what I have seen, my brother has become a whole different person. Also, my other brother and I do not get along well with his girlfriend, and have not for years, as she has done a lot of shitty things to our brother and even to us. This all started on a family trip. My other brother, 27, and I, 20, noticed that my brother had passed out and kindly went to charge his phone for him. Unfortunately, his phone was unlocked, and the first thing we saw was that he was talking to these girls on Discord where they were hyping him up and flirting with him, with prior knowledge that my brother, 30, is a cheater, and even admitted to us that he would have fake accounts with a different name to talk to other people behind his girlfriend's back. We knew that he was cheating on her once more. Yes, we should not have looked through his phone, but we saw that he was using his fake accounts again, which was super disappointing as we thought he changed. From that point, the trip felt ruined, and for the rest of it, we were very noticeably upset with him, and while we should have confronted him about it, we didn't know how to. Weeks after the trip was over, he had asked us why we were so upset with him, and we finally opened up as to why. He told us he understood why, and when we asked him if he would admit it to his girlfriend, he said no. This was upsetting to hear, as we thought he had changed, but again, since it is not our relationship, we just let it slide. He reassured us and told us that he had deleted everything and stopped talking to all of those people, but I knew what the secret account was called and saw that he was still active on it nearly every day, even after being called out. Yes, you could call it obsessive behavior to be checking every day, but I just could not believe his lies, and the guilt of not telling his girlfriend was starting to eat at me. It would get to the point where I would ask him for updates and reassurance that he was done with the cheating, and he would say yes and lie straight to my face. Now this is the part of the story where I am not proud of what my other brother, 27, and I did, as it was a total invasion of his privacy. But one day we looked through his Discord, one of the apps we saw him secretly on, and we saw that he was talking to multiple random people, using a fake alias and making up fake stories about his life. He would brag about his exes trying to hit him up. He has only dated his current girlfriend. Sexted other random people online. Thankfully, I did not have to see anything, but my other brother did. And the weirdest part would use my other brother's screenshotted conversations and messages from his exes and pretend that those were girls hitting him up, and even send pictures of us to these random strangers. This truly shocked us, as we realized this man lived a whole second life on the internet, pretending to be someone he wasn't, and there honestly is much more to this story, and many more horrible details that I don't want to get into, or this post would be reaching a novel length. In the end, it was out of line for us to look through his messages, but honestly, as I have been sparing the details about my brother, he is genuinely a pathological liar, and has been for years. As much as his girlfriend deserves to know, we know that we should try to confront him about it first, as it's his right to admit this to her. The worst part about this all is that we know that even if he did end up admitting this to her, he would find a way to manipulate and gaslight her into believing it is her fault. The three of us used to be close too, but this situation has caused us to avoid him, which sucks, as I used to look up to him and grew up the closest to him, but now I don't even know who this man is. I do not like his girlfriend, but I just know how much it would hurt to find out years later that you have been cheated on and that his siblings knew all along. What would you do in this situation? Story 2. New update. I, 28F, messed up at the airport and am sad with how my boyfriend, 28M, treated me. How can I manage the issue or my feelings? I, 28F, have been dating my boyfriend, 28M, for almost 2 years. We're traveling for the first time internationally. Long story, but you kinda need to know. I fumbled, and I fully acknowledge I am 1,000,000,000% at fault. I'm embarrassed. We were checking in for our flight, and I forgot my passport. I made a rash, last-minute decision to switch my fanny pack, and I left my passport behind. I was so ashamed and apologetic. We live outside of the main city, so it'll take me an hour to get back, making 2 2-hour round trips if I'm lucky with no traffic. So I wouldn't recover my passport in time. The moment I shared that I forgot, my boyfriend blew up. He was calling me stupid and forgetful, and TBH, I wasn't disagreeing. I was like, I know. I know. I was so anxious and embarrassed with how he was scolding me in front of the flight attendant. She was giving me this look that I knew, but I stayed calm. The flight attendant was quick on helping me. She said I can catch tomorrow's flight and pay a $300 difference. I thought that was super reasonable. But my boyfriend was like, "What about me?" And I said he can go on ahead and I'll catch up a day later. Then he was ranting about how we are supposed to travel together. So then I suggested I'll also pay to change his flight with me. Then he complained that it's a waste of money and we could have spent $600 on the trip if I wasn't so dumb. Money is not a problem. I was holding it together because there was a lot of people in line behind us and I wasn't trying to cause a scene. I probably apologized 100 times and the flight attendant was even going out of her way to look for other flights from other places that may fly out same day. For the whole 30 minutes, my BF was being so hard on me and I know I derailed our plans, but I'm trying my best to fix it. He kept on sighing so hard and grunting, I was so stressed out. Suddenly, the flight attendant asked, "Can anyone bring your passport? I'll bring you to the priority line through TSA to help you." I'm like, OMG. So I called my best friend and begged her to go to my place to bring my passport, and she came through. I love her so much. So all good? No. I told my BF he can check in first and go inside, but he insisted in staying with me. As we proceeded to wait for my bestie to come, he kept scolding me. I know I fucked up. He kept saying, "Oh, your best friend better make it on time. How could you forget? If we miss this flight, IDK if I care to catch the next one. You're so stupid," etc. Honestly, I lost some of my lifespans waiting and praying my friend would come on time. Thankfully, she did, and with the help of the same flight attendant, we made it through with 7 minutes before boarding. The moment I sat down on the flight and finally collected myself, I cried. But then my BF was being so affectionate. He was hugging me and patting my head and saying, "We're okay. Don't worry, we made it." I straight up told him I didn't appreciate the way he treated me earlier, and he's like, "Can't coddle dumb behaviors." Which I'm like, he was really good at consoling and promised he'll buy dinner the moment we land. I thought I could forgive him and I really wanted to enjoy our trip. We landed and he's all happy and back to his loving self, but the situation at the airport is bothering me. Any advice? Like, I know I messed up pretty badly, so maybe I should just let it go, because that was on me. I just wished he was nicer. How can I bring it up again without ruining the vibe? Or should I wait till we finish traveling? Or just suck it up because I was the one who caused it anyway? Update 1. Thank you to the people who took their time to share their thoughts and kind words to me. I know it was a mistake and one enough to get annoyed about. To be honest, I actually got over it kind of quickly because, well, I'm on vacation and I am actually having fun. I also took the time to reflect our almost 2 years, and it really was a first where he showed me some immaturity, so I noted to myself to have a deeper conversation when we got back. Not so a good update though. We were shopping and the store was duty-free. Guess who forgot their passport? My boyfriend. I made a mocking joke, purposely sounding obnoxious. "Oh wow, how could you forget your passport? Can't use mine because I don't coddle dumb behaviors." And he was fuming. He stonewalled me the whole day, and I cried about it. Then I got so mad, so all in all, I put that $600 into use to stay at a hostel. It's a little dirty and lonely, so right now I'm fighting myself between sadness, anger, and regret, but I'm trying to prove a point to him. He hasn't texted me first, and I don't want to cave in either. We do have one booked attraction and a few eateries reserved, so IDK, I'm definitely reconsidering the relationship. Update 2, when it happened. To address the comments, yeah, I was being petty and spiteful. I told myself I was over it, but the moment he forgot his passport, I just said it. And yes, he did use my passport for the tax-free purchase before he ignored me the whole day. It's not a pretty picture, but I trailed him like a lost puppy and tried to cling his arms, apologized for a couple of hours. I cried when he went to eat and asked for a table of 1, and the waiter clearly looked at me right behind him, so I got mad about being treated like shit that I booked elsewhere. I'm not a really confronting person, so I went back and forth feeling pretty shitty about it. Aftermath. I was afraid to feel alone on this trip, so I was texting my situation to my girlfriends, and they FaceTime me to keep me company. The same bestie, we'll call Tina, who drove to the airport to drop off my passport, booked a spa for me, and the girlies chipped in. I felt so loved. Honestly, I am so appreciative of my support system even when I'm across the globe. I know a lot of you were telling me to leave, but I want to remind you that spending a couple of years being intimate/in love with someone isn't easy to let go. Next day, plus rest of the trip. Since we drafted our trip's itinerary, I already had an idea of where he would possibly go, so I did the opposite. I went online to book a walking/eating tour for the first half of the day. To my surprise, there were a lot of solo travelers in our group of 15, so everyone was very open and talkative amongst each other. I shared my contacts with another girl, I'll call her Cindy, who was soloing, and we decided that after tour, she was going to show me this celebrity aesthetic cafe that was nearby. I know I'm yapping, but this was a pivotal moment for me. As we were talking at the cafe and she asked why I'm traveling alone, I just cried. I was still hurt about what had happened, and I felt like this became bigger than it should have, so I'm just trauma dumping to a nice stranger. Cindy gave me the longest hug ever. It's the kind of the hug that you yearned for, so it made me cry even more, and she kept hugging and rubbing my back until I stopped. We're probably two weirdos in a shop who hugged for 10 minutes while I was sobbing, but I needed that LOL. I made it so awkward, but Cindy said, "It's okay to be hurt, but don't let this be a pattern." IDKY, but it really empowered me, so I decided to reach out first. Before you express your disappointment, let me explain. I've read some comments and they're not things I want to hear TBH. I also shared the post with two of the closest people to me, Tina and my brother, and I really want to clear some of the air that I am no way abused. Both also agreed that my boyfriend is overall loving. Even when I was texting my girlfriends about it, they were, and me included, was shocked by his behavior. Was this a one-off? I believe so. Does it make it okay? No. But do I love him? Yeah, and that's why I wanted to give it my all. I texted him, summary, how much I've missed him. I felt like we both handled things wrongly, and how can we come back from this? He called me immediately and cried, crying. I was confused, but in a way, I was also relieved that he was also sad. I met him back at the hotel and I rehearsed a whole speech in preparation. We had a deep one, and I laid out that I was not happy with how he spoke to me and his attitude when he was mad. He seemed apologetic, and my biggest surprise is that he told me he was going to propose on this trip. When I forgot my passport, he just spiraled and thought everything was ruined. When I mocked him for forgetting his passport, he said that it reminded him of the stress and how he had this perfect plan in his head only for me to be an ass to him. I get it when emotions are high, but I still think he could have been nicer. We tried to squash it and reminded each other that we love one another and will overcome this. I ended the talk by saying, while I do love him, I really want to spend another year or two learning more about each other before proposing. We've had some marriage talks before, and I made it clear that I want to live together and pick up on some relationship responsibilities before sealing the deal. It seemed like he took it well and said he'd be better. As for the rest of our trip, we had some moments. When he found out that I'm going to a spa because I was venting to my friends about him, he wasn't really happy. He understood where I was coming from, but he felt sad that I shared an ugly side of him. But he shrugged it off and apologized again for his actions. He was so nice, attentive, and extra loving. I felt like he really wanted to make up for the bad. The entire trip, he let everything go my way. It was kinda excessive, but I loved it. Until the last 4 days, and we had a restaurant booked, and for some reason, our table was located in an isolated spot. You know the gut feeling? I knew. The server was too nice, and we had a special course on the house. I tried to ask, "Are you trying to ask me a question tonight?" And he told me to just enjoy our meal and our time together. Of course it happened, he proposed. For the sake of public appearance, I did say yes. I told him we need to really have another discussion when we get back, and he said, "I know you wanted to wait, but I'm trying to show you I'm the best partner for you. I really think we should take it to the next level." I do appreciate him feeling confident to be with me in this way, but I really wanted to wait. It was a shitty, exhausting, and mixed experience. Internally, I was so stressed out. Externally, I'm trying to pretend I'm happy and thanking the restaurant staff for their help. Even the chef came out to congratulate us. When we got back to the hotel, he wanted to FaceTime our family/friends to share the news, and that's where I reminded him again of our talk. He was so furious and couldn't understand why I wanted to wait. It got so ugly. He started talking about how I'm wasting his time and all. I've thought to myself, and man, I cried 10x more on this trip than the rest of this year, so what the hell is going on? Then I thought about Cindy and my friends. Why am I crying so much? I'm tired of crying. I just told him to stop and cool off. So imagine me sobbing on a queen bed in the corner and him faced the other way for the rest of the night. I didn't sleep very much. I waited for him to wake up so we could talk again. I kept thinking about the what ifs and what could happen. The moment he was up, I asked to talk and he basically brushed me off and went straight to shower/get ready. I asked if he's getting ready and he's not outrightly ignoring me, but just giving me vague and short answers. For example, me, "Do you want to talk about last night?" Him, "No." Me, "Are you getting ready? Should we grab something to eat?" Him, "Don't worry about it." Me, "What are you feeling?" Him, "Nothing. I'm just so defeated," and I felt like I could cry again. I just told him to enjoy the rest of today, and that's when he said, "Yeah, without you," and left me at the hotel. It didn't take long for him to walk out the door that I've decided to break up. I just texted him, "I'm not tolerating this and we both should move on." As I'm packing, he barged into the room and was screaming at me, like full-on seething anger, and I'm scared. I knew he won't hit me, but he was saying some fucked up stuff. I won't repeat it because no one should be spoken to that way. I'm hysterical, and some of the hotel staff immediately opened the door to access process the situation. My boyfriend was basically telling them I'm a whore and all that shit. And because I'm inconsolable, it really looked like I wronged him, lol. Couldn't defend myself. I just asked the staff to book me a taxi, and I'll be on my way. One of them stayed with me till I finished collecting my stuff, and I went straight to the airport. Thankfully, I only had to wait less than half a day to get the next flight out, so I made a few calls to some friends and family. My brother, who knew about the proposal, did warn my boyfriend to take it slow, but didn't think it would end up like this. It was a crappy ride back. Tina is being as amazing as ever as my best friend. I DM'd Cindy that we broke up, and she said, "Dub, baby, find better," with a lot of emojis. It made me laugh. He hasn't reached out at all. Pretty typical of him. Safe to say we're done. His friend dropped off my things and nicely said, "Sorry how things ended, but wishing you well. No harassment, no gossiping amongst our friends, or I hope not." They were surprised we broke up, but took it as people fall apart in life attitude. Everyone has slowly checking up on me in waves, so I feel grateful. Just going to take it one day at a time. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest ones. Have a great day.